Hi, I'm Coach Kyle Harris here, and I'm going to talk to you about caffeine and caffeine supplementation, some of the benefits of caffeine and caffeine supplementation, as well as some of the disadvantages or side effects from caffeine and caffeine supplementation, and give you some recommendations for NCAA athletes because it's not a banned substance, but it is a substance that has some guidelines according to it, and it can be banned in certain amounts. Caffeine is the most widely used drug in the world. It is a drug. A drug is anything other than food that is going to cause a mind or a body response. It's going to change the mind or the body, and caffeine does that. Anybody that's used caffeine knows that it's going to provide some benefits as far as alertness, focus, a sense of well-being for a lot of people, and the sense of improved energy. Some of the other benefits that go along with caffeine include physiological benefits, mental benefits, and neurological benefits. For example, physically, a lot of people feel a sense of euphoria or improved energy levels. So for athletics or anything where we're going to be using our bodies, exercise, sports, endurance athletes are going to get a great benefit from it. Strength athletes, the jury's still out on that as far as increasing 1 rep max and strength and power output, but there are some preliminary studies that are showing that there's a little bit of an increase in strength and power performance. Team sport athletes are going to benefit. Stop and go athletes showing benefits in research. Some of the biggest athletes that show the greatest benefits of it are ones that have stop and go type sports, intermittent sprinting type sports, or high intensity type sports where they're going to have high intensity levels of activity for up to 60 minutes. So we're talking about cyclists, rowers, long distance swimmers, sprint swimmers, middle distance runners, and team sports like soccer, football, and basketball where you're going to have to go, stop, and you have a lot of repeat sprint performances. Caffeine can improve performance for those athletes. As far as mental benefits go, you're going to see an increase in focus, concentration, attention span, and alertness. There's also been shown that people are improving reaction time. They're improved accuracy when they have to process information, and they process information faster as well. So those types of people show improved performance. When they've done research on individuals doing things like mazes or information processing, people with caffeine have shown an improved in performance. Neurologically, there's been a small improvement in coordination, especially when people have done endurance type activity. So it's going to improve neurologically as well. Now, there are some side effects with caffeine. It is a drug, so there is some dependency that can be developed when you use it or use it too much. When you decrease caffeine or get off of caffeine, the withdrawal symptoms do include things like headaches, lethargy, insomnia, shakiness, foggy brain, depression, the inability to focus or process information as you're used to because of the dependency on caffeine. Some of the other disadvantages include the fact that there are some people that are non-responders. There has been research that has shown that there are non-responders to caffeine. One of the biggest disadvantages of it is that caffeine's not always standardized in products. Supplements do not have the standards as other foods do from the FDA. So companies do lie. And there's not standardized caffeine. There are things such as proprietary blends that may not list the amount of caffeine that's in the product. Also, caffeine drinks like coffees that you're getting that don't have a label, they vary widely. There was research done on famous coffee products, and some of the most popular ones have as little as 65 milligrams of caffeine per 8 ounces, and some of them have as many as 360 milligrams. So if you're not a coffee drinker or a caffeine user, and you utilize caffeine from something like coffee to improve performance, you may get more than you want. Now, as far as dosing goes, people have seen benefit from as little as 3 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. Usually 3 to 6 milligrams per kilogram of body weight is what is recommended about 60 minutes before physical activity. That's going to show an increase in attentiveness, focus, information processing, and the other physiological benefits that I spoke about earlier. If you're not used to caffeine, you may have some drawbacks though. You may have an increase in heart rate, an increased blood pressure, and it may give you the shakes, making you feel nervous, anxious, things of that nature. So if you have not used caffeine before a physical activity or performance, you may want to do that. For those of you that do use caffeine, sometimes we do build a tolerance. So it may be beneficial before a big event or athletic performance that you get off of caffeine for 7 to 10 days so you get the benefits from it, the physical benefits that you do get from ingesting 3 to 6 milligrams 60 minutes before performance. Now, as far as the NCAA goes, it's not a banned substance when used properly. However, if you have 15 micrograms per milliliter of blood of caffeine in you, that will result in a positive test and you will be disqualified or you will have sanctions by the NCAA. 15 micrograms per milliliter equates to about 500 milligram dose 60 minutes before activity. So you need to make sure you're staying under that. Now, if an athlete is 180 pounds, that's about, if we do 3 to 6 milligrams per kilogram, that athlete's going to be around the 200 to 400 milligram range. So you want to stay probably under 6 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. Now, in summary, you want to make sure you're using the proper dosage. Do your research if you're going to be an NCAA athlete using caffeine. For those of you that want to use caffeine, 3 to 4 milligrams per kilogram of body weight is probably a good place to start, and then assess tolerance from there. You may need to back off. You may need to increase depending on your body weight and depending on how much caffeine you've used previously. So in conclusion, caffeine can be a great performance enhancer, but you need to use it with well intentions. You need to know your governing bodies and the sanctions they have on caffeine use, and you need to make sure that you not only research that, but you also test it out on your body to make sure you're not using too much. Thank you. This has been Kyle Harris, Coach Kyle Harris on caffeine use.